Hello, everyone. This is Roger Connect with Universal Accounting Center, and I'm pleased to say that I'm being joined right now by Scott McKinley.
Hello, everybody, again.
This is going to be a wonderful opportunity for us to discuss specifically 9 key things that you can do to become the premier accounting service in your area. And what we're hoping to accomplish here is really have Scott and I share some of the things that we've noticed, not only just in the past number of years that have made a difference for a number of accountants as to their ability to find and retain quality clients and get paid what they're worth, offering valuable services, but what we're noticing even now this year as to what's happening within the profession that will allow you to get ahead of the curve and literally do what you're needing to do to stay relevant for your clients and in reality be the premier accounting service in your area. So let's go ahead and begin. What I'd like to do, Scott, is have you share what it is that we're going to address. What are the topics for today?
Today, we're really going to be diving into what it is that differentiates you from the competition that's out there. With the services in accounting and tax, there's a lot of competition out there. So one of the things that drives the value of business is something that we call the monopoly control. And that's looking into something that you can do that's different from all the other guys and gals that are out there running these accounting, bookkeeping, tax practices, CPA firms. So we're going to get into, first off, 3 things that your clients are expecting you to be bringing to the table. We're going to share with you 3 services that every accounting firm that wants to have this piece of the monopoly control, everything that you should be doing in your firm and offering for your clients. And lastly, we're going to talk about some of the changes that are taking place in the industry. We've said it before in some of our past webinars, if you've listened in on those, but the accounting industry is actually getting to be a little sexy with some of the things that is being offered. And these business owners, these younger business owners, these millennials that are starting business, they don't want just the old profit and loss statement and balance sheets and quarterly tax filings at the end of the year. They're looking for more modern, more updated, newer ideas that are taking place. And so we're going to get into some of the changes that you can expect to see in the accounting industry coming up.
Exactly. I'm attending regularly conferences, and I'm astounded with what really is going on out there with the different vendors and the services they're providing to the accounting profession. There's a lot out there right now that's really changing, I feel, the accounting industry, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to share some of the things that I'm starting to see.
So, a little bit about Universal Accounting. Roger, why don't you take this, because you are passionate about this company.
You know, and I'm going to share something here that I haven't said before, and I think this is important to realize. I'm going to go back to where it says there, 1979, and kind of give a little bit of a history where a gentleman by the name of Alf Bostrom started the company after working with a number of businesses, helping them as what he was known in the market as a turnaround king. He was literally going into companies that were in essence about to go bankrupt. And as he began working with these companies, he was basically saying to them as business owners, look, you're about ready to lose everything. The company's going to go under. You probably have a mortgage out on your home to run the business. Well, why don't I come in and offer my line of credit, my reputation, and help you turn this around, because I feel that what you have here is something worth saving. And as he would do this with clients, many of them, by the way, that still exist today because of his efforts, what he was noticing is as he would go into the businesses, the one thing that he needed to make this turnaround was the accounting information. He needed to know where the money was coming from, where it was going, where the margins were. And in order to do this correctly, he needed accurate and timely accounting information. And oftentimes it did not exist. As the businesses started to struggle, it might have been some of the things that they had done away with or they didn't know how to use, so they forgot about it. And so essentially what was starting to happen is he was going into companies and he was beginning to train people on what it is they needed to do with their accounting. Now, just to be clear here, regardless of someone's experience, they could have had a 4-year degree in accounting, they could have been the administrative assistant doing the books for the business, he still had to go in and show them how to do the small business accounting, which is entirely different than what's oftentimes taught in college. And in time, what he developed is a curriculum that he literally was using with each of his clients to help them get the information they need to turn the businesses around. Well, he became known within the community as having developed this training for those businesses, and he had people that were aware of his business and what his role was, asking him, hey, could I have my staff go through your training? Well, obviously, as an entrepreneur, he saw the opportunity, and that's when the school started in 1979. And the beauty of what I'm about to say next is he took from the passion he had for helping businesses and saving businesses directly into the school and allowed us to create in Universal Accounting very specific programs that over the years are proprietary courses that we have for small business accounting professionals. It's essentially there to help you do what's needed in business to offer quality services. And so the training that we offer is literally designed to help you excel with confidence and competence doing what you can do best to really help the business community out there do what they're trying to do, which is their product and their service. So I love what's going on here at Universal Accounting. We've been doing this for a number of years. As it shows there, a few years ago, we were able to be recognized as an Inc. 500 company. I believe it was 5 years running that we were also seen or recognized as an Inc. 5000 company. Our headquarters are in the state of Utah, so we were recognized 5 years running as a Utah Top 100 business. So a lot of recognitions for our own strategies that we apply internally and have used to grow our business, but now we teach as part of our curriculum to help you as you're servicing your clients. So a lot to be said there about Universal Accounting, but the passion literally comes from the fact that we were in the real world application of this. And I'm pleased to say, and I'll end on this, that our coaches, most of our coaches are practicing what they do. So that's very big.
All of the coaches are.
Yeah.
You got your academic coaches that have practices. You've got your marketing coaches
Yeah, you're right.
that have their own practices, their own businesses that they're having to go out and
That's
market
right.
on. So
100% of the coaches are literally not just teaching theory, but they're practicing what they teach. They have clients that pay for the very same services that you're being taught to offer. So you're right. 100% of the coaches out there that you would be assigned to and work with as a student of Universal Accounting are literally doing what it is they're helping you achieve.
to give a little bit of an accolade to the coursework that came from what Alf Bostrom experienced is that the professional bookkeeper program, which we'll make reference to throughout this webinar, the industries that the students have the opportunity to do, 12 different industries where they're learning to do the books from the perspective of what that business owner would be looking for, what the baker wants and what the deli owner and the photography studio. So when he created the program, it was because he was teaching these business owners how to use their own set of books and realized there's a gap in the training that's out there, and these CPAs and degreed accountants are missing out on that opportunity to speak from the perspective of the business owners. And I really think that is what has allowed Universal Accounting to stay strong and relevant since 1979, is being able to fill in those gaps and give people that perspective to make them speak the language of each of those businesses.
Good. Well, let's keep going.
Well, let's have you tell us a little bit about, now that you've talked about Universal Accounting, who's Roger Connect?
Yes. Well, I love this picture. I'm glad I chose this one to kind of share myself. I've been doing this with Universal Accounting for a number of years. In fact, I believe I'm on my 17th year here at Universal Accounting. And what I'd like to just share is something that's very important to me, because this is my livelihood. This is how I've been providing for my family, and this is them here who you're seeing now. This is how I've put a roof over their head, and I've fed them and clothed them. So I'm very excited to say I love what I do, because I feel I'm making a difference within the accounting profession. So who are these individuals? You'll see me there in the background. I'm trying to raise myself over the others. My son is admittedly much taller than I am. He's Robert, and I love him to death. He's a great young man. He's just finishing up high school, and he's about to begin his life, and it's exciting to see him in the workforce. To the far right is my daughter, Sydney, with the long hair. She's wonderful. She's actually going into high school. She loves stage crew and has been working within theater for quite a bit. She's now doing her first summer job, so I'm excited to see her doing a lot of things. To the other side is my daughter, Cassidy, and I'm pleased to say that she just recently got married, and there in the middle is my wife, my sweet wife. I don't know if anyone recognizes where we're at, but we're in San Jose at the Winchester House, and it's a wonderful place to go tour. It's a great story, but I bring this up because I want to say this. this was in association with a conference that I was attending out there for Intuit. And one of the things that's really important is, as I've been going to each of these conferences and staying appraised as to not just what's happening in the accounting profession, but what's on the horizon, I've been pleased to go out and meet many of our graduates, individuals who come up to me and introduce themselves as students of Universal Accounting and share really what it is that Universal's done to help them kind of finish off what it is that they've been doing in their career, and literally come up with the confidence and competence to go out and excel in their career, whether it be in the employment that they have or the self-employment where they have their own practices. And the thing I wanted to share is my background initially, where I became introduced to Universal Accounting, was first working as a headhunter. I was a recruiter. I was basically placing accountant individuals in temporary or permanent type opportunities. And that's where I became aware of Universal Accounting. And it was through those placements that I became aware of how well the training was. And I was able to place with a variety of clients, accounting individuals, and the employers, the clients, would come back saying that they liked the people and were wondering if we had more individuals like them. So I became very familiar with Universal Accounting, began working with them, did some consulting with Universal, and then an opportunity presented itself to become employed here. And I've not looked back since. Working with Universal Accounting has been phenomenal. I cannot say enough how much I've enjoyed working with so many individuals, mostly here in the United States and Canada, as they've literally taken and done that next step in their lives to have the careers that they've hoped for. So Universal Accounting has been a blessing in my own family, and obviously I've been able to see how it's blessed and helped others. So it's been great.
I'm Scott. This is my family. You can see us right here. The oldest is right there in the middle. His name is Taylor. He is going to be heading down to St. George, Utah, and starting his sophomore year of college, which is hard to believe because it seemed like we were just taking him down there.
Well, he used to be stone size.
That when I started working for Universal Accounting, he was the size of my youngest son right there, who's in front of my wife, Jen. The youngest is working her way through diapers. So I've got, you can imagine the type of conversations that I'm having on a daily basis, dealing with a sophomore in college to put that back, put that down, leave that alone. Don't go over there. Don't do it. Dad. So I started working with Universal Accounting in 2006, and things happen in our lives for a reason. And my opportunity to be brought on with this company and given the opportunities with this company has really shaped who I am today. Working as the marketing coach with the students that are out there in the field day after day, going into meetings, making presentations, going to networking, and working with them and teaching them how to be the most effective at client retention has brought so many more opportunities into my life that have enriched me and made me a better person. But it's given me a glimpse as to the importance of somebody else's perspective in what we're doing. And I was given an opportunity to work with the coach through Universal Accounting so I could see what it was like to be on the other side of that coaching spectrum. And with that opportunity came so many wonderful blessings and changes. And I've learned things that I pass on to the students at Universal Accounting as they're out there making every effort to get a return on their investment with their business and to create a valuable business. And I love the opportunity that I still have today. It's so many years later, and I'm still doing what I do and what I enjoy doing. It's been a blessing. And if you work with me, if you get a chance to get to know me and Roger, one of the things that I think is definitely one of our strong points, to brag a little bit, is the passion and the commitment that we have to helping people find the same level of success that we've been able to find in our lives. And Universal Accounting has been a great opportunity and a great theater for me to be able to showcase that and help people really take these concepts and these ideas and these thoughts that they have and turn them into the things that they've always dreamed that they were. So that's who I am. 4 kids, Aria, Taylor, Tori, and Stone, and my wife, Jen, there. So,
well, I'm just going to add something here. Scott, you are a genuine, sincere individual. I love the fact that you practice what you preach. You apply the principles that you take to these individuals that are graduates and students of ours, even in your own life. And so I think it's a testament to the fact that you believe what you're telling people. You have a confidence in what you're telling people only because of the fact that you eat, live, breathe, sleep the same thing. So that's a kudos to not only Scott as well, but I think our other coaches, just as they're running their own practices and dealing with businesses as well, have that same love and affection for the work that they're doing and the students that they work with. So wonderful stuff.
I agree. Same to you as well, Roger.
Thank you.
So getting into this now, for those of you that are listening, and I know that there's a lot of you that are listening today, and there will be people that will be listening in the days to come. When you think about the practice, when you imagine what it can be, there are probably fears that pop up that stop you from moving forward, or there's confusion. One of the goals that Roger and I have today is to try to take away some of the confusion so you can get the answers and realize that if you stop making excuses and if you focus on what you really want and take action, because the market rewards action. People who think about starting practices or people who think about incorporating additional services into their already existing practices don't do it. It's only the people that take the action. And you're listening today. You signed up for the webinar today for a reason. You're watching it because you wanted to learn what the secrets are that are going to make you stand out. Don't just take notes. The worst thing that you can do is sit here and listen and nod your head and say, I agree, and take notes, and then put those notes in the drawer next to the old notes from the last seminar that you listened to. Take action on those. Stop making excuses, and let's make 2000 and whatever year this is the best year for you to have, and get started with these practices and start making changes.
And I'm going to add to that. You always share a very specific quote, which is a confused mind says
no.
No. And I really do believe that you're listening to this simply because of the fact that this is the right time for you to now apply what you're going to hear in your situation, in your business, only because of the fact that you've been asking for this. And now you're going to get the answers as to what it is you need to be doing in order to bring more services to your practice, to make more money within your firm. And this is your chance to literally now apply what you're going to be hearing and move forward. It's not just a listen and that was good to know. It's let's listen, let's apply, let's move ahead.
Take action.
Take action. All right. So there are 3 things that your client expects from you. And this might sound redundant. I fear that some of you are going to go, well, that's kind of obvious. No, I don't think you're going to hear then what we're trying to say if you feel that this is obvious, because there is something deep in here that you need to be hearing. And we're going to point it out to you right now.
Accurate information is the first thing. And like Roger says, that probably sounds redundant, but you would be so surprised at how many businesses are out there are the ones who are telling us, the bookkeepers and the accountants and the tax preparers, what they want.
I'm going to give you a very specific example. I have a business client that is with Universal Accounting, and as a client of ours, they have someone else doing their bookkeeping, okay? So we acquired them as a client. They already had someone in-house doing the books. It happened to be a CPA, and in the nature of our relationship, I wasn't at the point of needing to look at their accounting information, so we hadn't gotten there. And in the interim, this particular person who happened to be a CPA then had a family situation and came to the owner of the business and said, I need to leave. So here they are, a business client of ours that we're working with to apply some other principles that we teach. And as a client, he then came to me saying, hey, I need some help. What do you suggest? Well, knowing that the person was a CPA and understanding that the accounting was up to date and accurate, I just simply said, well, you just need to go find someone else to take their place and start doing the work. And so he had found a second CPA to do the work. And there's a whole backstory to all of this. But my point is simply saying this is that individual came in saying that they could do the work in just a few hours until he could find a bookkeeper to come in and work full time and just kind of create that bridge and maybe do the training of the new employee since the other person wasn't available. Well, they came in and said that the first CPA had left a mess. An absolute mess.
Not surprised.
Payroll was messed up. The chart of accounts was messed up. The receivables were messed up. Everything was messed. It was a disaster. And this person was a CPA and she had left, wasn't available. I mean, I think she ran away just in fear of what she had done. But in any case, this person came in saying, well, yeah, I could do the work, catch up the last 2 or 3 weeks while he hadn't had her, and train the new employee. He was there for weeks trying to recreate and clean up what was the mess. Well, then he had a family situation come up, and the client of ours hadn't yet found an employee. So he hadn't had a chance to finish what he was doing nor train a new person. Here's the disaster. I now finally get to come in with our accounting staff to talk to the client and help them with their situation. Because in no way would I have assumed that it would have been a disaster. We come in to look at what mess is going on. Both of these CPAs destroyed the books to the extent that nothing was usable, and it needed to all be fixed. I can't stress for you enough how many times I go in and I see people who purport themselves to be bookkeepers, accountants, CPAs, and they don't know what they're doing, or they're doing it, but it's not information the business owner can use, meaning maybe the report's done, but the accounting's 3 months old. Who cares at this point, right? So accuracy, huge. So don't presume that even because you're capable and competent in doing the books, that these businesses that are out there that even have bookkeepers have the accurate information.
It's amazing what business owners will call a bookkeeper.
Oh, yeah.
It's amazing what they'll call an accountant, what they think an accountant is. And so it's our job to communicate. When I say our, I'm speaking to those of you that are listening today. It's your job to clearly communicate, take that confusion away so these business owners know what accurate information looks like. We're going to get into that. Mm-hmm. The next thing that your clients should be expecting is timely information. There's a difference between just getting accurate information. You could get accurate information on an annual basis. But what we're talking about is timely information for a couple of reasons. Because frequency is going to keep problems small.
Yes.
Frequency, as we're going to get into, accelerates the wisdom of the business owner. So timely information is the second thing that business owners expect from your services. The third thing is what we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about.
And before we jump into it, I want to talk about timely, because this is where I feel attending these conferences is really becoming more and more important, not just for me to go to, but for each of you listening in, because it's very apparent that Intuit, Sage, Xero, FreshBooks, any of the accounting software programs that are out there, they are all working feverishly to make it so that accounting information is instantaneous. It is real time. They're providing for the business clients, for you as the bookkeeper or accountant, the means for which the numbers and the accuracy of the numbers is timely, it's quick, it's fast. What's happening out there right now is your jobs are being simplified. And what's becoming more and more important is the business owner is seeing the numbers accurately and timely and real time, but now they have a greater need for the interpretation of. So what does all of this mean? What am I supposed to be doing here? How does this number help me make a more intelligent business decision? And so what's very, very apparent as I've attended a variety of conferences in the last number of months is in each and every one of these accounting conferences, you, the accountant, is being told you need to be offering more for your clients. You need to become more relevant to your clients. You need to become more involved in their day-to-day business operations. Not that you're in the office daily, but you're relevant to the decisions they're making because they have access to the accounting information, not just what were the transactions 3 months ago, because I just got month end for 3 months ago today. It's where am I at financially today or in the last week, and I'm able to now make business decisions based on that. And the interpretation of the numbers is where they become more reliant upon you as not just a trusted advisor. They already trust you. You're in there doing the books, but as a strategic advisor, someone that helps them kind of check their gut, helps them check the wisdom that they have in their business, the familiarity they have of the day-to-day operations with what are the numbers actually saying is happening right now.
I am going to share a story with you when we talk about interpreting the numbers. And I'm going to share a story with you about a business owner that was just failing miserably. This is a story that I heard about yesterday.
Okay.
from one of my clients,
Okay.
one of my marketing students out in California. We'll just call him Chuck. He shared a story with me about interpreting the numbers where he paid for himself for the next decade. So you'll want to hear that. Stay tuned.
All right.
First thing, accurate information. Why is accurate information so important? Well, accurate information is going to let these business owners know where in their business there are problems, where there are fires that need to be put out, where things are working, where things are not working, and where things need to be changed. Now, for a lot of business owners, they maybe are getting financial reports, but they're getting financial reports at the end of the year, or they're getting them and they're being told by their CPAs, just take these and hold on to them and wait until tax season, and then you'll have all of the information that you need for filing your taxes. What good is that doing a business owner?
Anytime you as an accountant, a bookkeeper, or a tax preparer basically say, here's the information and don't worry about it, it's done, and don't help the business owner understand or see the value in running their business with that information, you're hurting yourself. You're not making yourself relevant. They're not seeing the value of having you do the books where they're paying you for this service, where they in the end don't get anything that they can use in their business. You don't want to be seen as that necessary evil to be in business. You do not want to be seen as that distraction from the day-to-day operations. You need to be that complement. Literally, like you just shared, Scott, accounting should be doing in the business things that generate far more in savings or revenue or cash flow than the cost of them paying you to do the work. So if you're not providing for your clients this, first of all, accurate information, it's got to be accurate. That's the given, all right? It shouldn't be anything more than assumed. They expect it to be accurate. But that then brings you to the next thing, which is the timeliness of it, right?
Right.
If I'm getting it once a year when I'm doing my taxes, what does it matter whether or not January the previous year was profitable or not profitable? I should have been making decisions in February and March based on January's numbers, not it's now March, April of the following year, and I'm past even this last January going, oh, I guess I should have known that for the first of the year.
Right. Understand everything does have a place. And so there are reports that are going to be an annual report.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. A benchmark, an industry benchmarking report, that's an annual thing. You're not going to get that on a monthly basis.
No. But let me give you an idea of what's going on timely wise. There are a variety of software programs out there right now where, from an accounting point of view, they're providing now interfaces which will allow you as a business owner to text your QuickBooks or text your Sage or text your Xero. And when you text, you're communicating with your software, not even the accountant. You're communicating with the software, and you're requesting via text information of what's my current balance, create an invoice for Tom, I sold him this, and you're doing it via text. You're communicating with your accounting software this way. So the timeliness of it is real time. And what's also important is the accountant is being integrated into this experience, because the software programs don't want to alienate us. We're the advocates for their software. So they're trying to do this in such a way as to enable us to be still that strategic, trusted advisor. They're not trying to remove us from the equation. Don't feel threatened by this. The timeliness of the information should give you two things. One, you're the expert to know for your client what software and programs and apps they should be using. Now you're the expert as to which they should be integrating with, what ones should they be paying for. But the second thing is with the timely information, they need more help from you to understand how to use that information. So it's now, because it's so timely and relevant, the information needs your input more regularly, and so they're more reliant upon you. And so the thing is you need to be embracing this technology shift. It's making your job easier in all reality.
Just because they can use their software does not mean anything about their ability to interpret what's going on.
Exactly. Just because I know how to use Word and write a document in there does not make me a professional writer. Okay, I'm not all of a sudden going to be J.K. Rowling and make a book that's then going to make an amusement park and movie.
Right.
All I am is I'm able to italicize, bold, That's all I'm doing. So your familiarity with maybe an app that's integrated into QuickBooks or into Sage, your expertise in helping the client use certain tools such as like T-sheets or something to help them be more effective in their business and simplify what they're trying to do does not alienate you, nor does it remove you from their dependency on you.
Right. Just because a business owner understands some of the basics about the software and understands it, just they don't know what they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so on the surface, maybe they've got 25% of an understanding of what's going on with the reports, but they don't have 100% knowledge like you do. Mm-hmm. You're the expert. So this timely information, what we're talking about is a monthly meeting where you're sitting down with your client face to face if possible. Now, unless they're a client that's out of your state or province, that's one thing. But a face-to-face meeting where you're sitting down and going over those numbers with them and communicating what areas need to be worked on. And we're going to get to that when we talk a little bit more about the interpretation of the numbers. But these monthly meetings are vital. Don't let them tell you what they need. You don't get to go to your doctor and tell your doctor what you need because you want to save money on whatever his recommendations are going to be.
Well, just because you saw a commercial on television of something that you should be doing, that you're still needing the doctor to prescribe it and actually agree that that's what you need.
Right.
Okay. So what's happening here is you are becoming more and more the expert that they're needing for insights. You see things differently than they will see things. You have a perspective that they're reliant upon, and that's what they're going to be paying you for.
So monthly access through phones, through emails. One of the things that Universal Accounting has emphasized with our students over the years is the importance of eliminating the hourly rate for certain services. And with bookkeeping, write-up, those types of services, this should be just a flat monthly fee. And one of the advantages to having a flat monthly fee is the fact that your client doesn't hesitate to reach out to you if they need that information. Whereas so many industries that charge this hourly rate, their customers are scared and they're reluctant to call them because they know every time. I think the accountant attorneys, perfect industry. My wife and I worked with an attorney years ago, and we hated talking to her because every time we did, we were being billed at $250 an hour. And so instead of getting the help that we needed, we tried to figure things out on our own. And let me just tell you, it didn't work well for us. So if you can have these monthly meetings, the access available to you so they can call and get that information, it's going to help them climb the wisdom pyramid. We're going to show you what the wisdom pyramid is coming up here in a minute, but I think we said all we need to say about the timely type of information.
Yes.
We're talking monthly, everybody. Monthly bookkeeping, accounting services. The next thing is what we've been talking about all along.
You need to understand that as an accountant, as a bookkeeper, as a tax preparer, your role is to help them understand the numbers, and it's the interpretation of it. I want you to just imagine for a moment that the reports that you're producing, whether it be the tax forms, the balance sheet, the income statements, maybe it's showing people current ratios, liquidity ratios, KPIs, all these numbers for many of your clients are gibberish. They don't understand what it is. So imagine for a moment that all these reports are in another language, French, Spanish, something that your client does not understand. And what they're coming to you for is the translation of this information. What does it mean? Because being a business owner, they don't want to go back to school and take accounting classes and become an accountant. That's why they hired you. That's why they employed you. And so when you have somebody that's a business owner and they're needing the information that's sitting in front of them, they know there's some gem in there. They're turning to you saying, what am I missing? What should I see? What should I know? What are the trends that are standing out to you? And they're turning to you as that expert translator to look at this information in a way that they can't, interpret it for them in a way that they can use to make more intelligent business decisions. That is what they're looking to you to do. You are not going to be replaced by any software out there. In fact, the software companies are very smart in saying that they're not trying to replace you. The days of thinking that the accounting software is going to eliminate the accounting profession, those aren't on the horizon. However, your being able to use those as tools, just like you got rid of, and I don't know if you're old enough to remember this, journals and ledgers. I mean, when was the last time you held and wrote in a ledger and recorded things in journals? You don't. You do it in a software program. Well, the computers did not replace your role. They made you more profitable and made your profession more capable of doing the work you do. They didn't replace you. And that's what's going on with technology. It's making the client more dependent upon you because they have more accurate and timely information that they need your help understanding.
This will be where you pay for yourself.
Yes.
This is where you're going to turn your services from, like Roger said, a necessary evil to an investment in the profitability of the business. Now, I said I was going to share a story with you where this interpretation of the numbers was so important. So one of my students recently was sharing a story where one of his customers had lost almost $200,000 in 2016, $190,000. So he sat down and took the information, got the KPIs, and reviewed that information and recommended to this business owner, who was the son of the owner. The owner had recently had a heart attack and was in India recovering. So the son was left in charge. And my student said, "You're way over in your hourly, not your hourly, your payroll." Payroll was over by like 21%. He said, "You need to reduce your payroll." His cost of goods sold was out of control. He said, "You need to eliminate some of the costs that you're spending here." And the son said, "Well, I was always told that I need to have inventory and I need to make sure my inventory is high." And he said, "Look, that's fine. Having inventory is one thing, but you're outrageously overstocked and it's killing you with the cost of goods sold." There was a reason that this guy was $190,000 in debt with this business. So the father came back from India, listened to the recommendations, and in 2017 had a $45,000 profit by stepping back and looking at the information that was being provided, taking this interpretation of the numbers. So that's why I say he paid for himself for the next decade. That's 9 years of bookkeeping services at $5,000 a year for this business owner. This is the type of direction that you can't get if you're a business owner and you're printing reports and looking at what you know to look at and only looking at those things. You need somebody that speaks French to be able to interpret the numbers or the language, like Roger was using as that analogy. So I find in the interactions that I have with students and with what they're encountering with business owners is that this is really what business owners are getting right here, is accurate information, and that's about it.
Yes, and so if you just basically stay where these are the services that you provide, you're going to become insignificant in the accounting profession, and you're going to become irrelevant to your clients, and you're going to be replaced by an accountant who's doing all of this.
Right.
Okay, so the big thing here is there was once a day where you wore a green visor, had a band around your arm, and you were recording in journals and ledgers line by line, kind of like in Scrooge. You know, you've got the person sitting there asking for a coal to be put on the fire so you could record all the transactions for the day. And the point is that's not the case. Today, the transactions are going to be automated. Okay, no longer are you doing the transactional recording. What you're doing is now the interpretation of the information and trying to get it to the client as quick and as efficiently as possible. That's what's happening here.
More importantly, if you're just doing this, you've got to realize how much money you're leaving on the table.
Exactly, because your value is not in being able to enter transactions. Your value is being that valued interpreter.
Correct.
That's where you're going to be paid the money you deserve.
Correct. Good. All right. So those three things are what your clients expect. Moving on, the three services that every firm should be offering. Now, the top one, I'm sure if you're listening in on this, that's what you've been focused on. That's what you've been looking at. And good. If you're doing that, excellent.
And I'm going to pause here. I'm going to just share. There are so many times that we speak to people who are in the bookkeeping and accounting profession who don't do taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many people out there that do taxes, that don't do accounting and bookkeeping.
Right.
And so often what we say is, look, if you're doing the accounting and bookkeeping, you're doing basically like 95% of the work of the tax preparer, because all the tax preparer is doing is basically taking the numbers you're providing and putting them on the right places on the tax form, right? And then the tax preparer, so often they're having to get in and do things within the accounting. So why not just be involved throughout the year? And it allows you to not just get paid for tax preparation, but more get involved in the tax planning and the actual things going on throughout the year. So yes, I'm hoping that you are looking at or doing both. Obviously, through Universal Accounting Center, we give you the training for the confidence and competence to go in as a professional bookkeeper, a professional tax preparer, and provide these services in a very profitable way. So you're right. That should be kind of like a given again, right? Just like the Akron information is the given.
It is a given, and step back and say, am I fulfilling everything in that given? Am I doing the things that need to happen? When we talk about the bookkeeping, go back to what we were just referencing. It's not just data entry on a quarterly basis. Even if the client says they're small, you're the expert. You let them know why they need to be meeting with you on a month. This is where I think most of the students, when I first start working with them as their marketing coach, this is where if I had $1 for every time they said, I know I'm leaving money on the table, I know I need to restructure my billing, and the whole culture of my services needs to change because I'm only doing what they tell me that they need. Mm-hmm. And if you let them tell you what they need, they're going to say, oh, it's quarterly. I don't need to meet with you on a month. I just need to see you quarterly or even just semi-annually. Everything on this list here that you see, the bookkeeping and the tax, the profit first, the value building, the whole purpose of this is to make your practice differentiated from everybody else that's out there and getting your clients to what we see at the top of this pyramid. Having the wisdom in their business, knowing what makes them profitable, knowing what areas they have their strengths and their weaknesses in, and helping them develop a strategy for being out of their business at some point. No business owner wants to do this until they're in the grave. Mm-hmm. They want exit strategies, and that is something that we're going to speak about because we're seeing more and more that this is something that's becoming that new culture.
Mm-hmm. So here.
Go ahead.
Well, of bookkeeping, let me now transition, as every firm should be offering this. In bookkeeping, no longer is it just appropriate to be providing the historical information, last month's P&L, last month's balance sheet. What you now need to be looking at is, with bookkeeping, you need to be looking at what can you be doing for budgeting and forecasting. You need to be forward thinking. You need to be projecting into the future. And the same goes for tax. No longer is it appropriate or significant enough to be providing good tax services. You have to also be doing tax planning. Right. Again, it's the forward thinking. It's the helping the client look ahead. Accounting can no longer be, as a profession, a historical reporter. The purpose of today's discussion is partly to help you understand that your role is switching from being a historian to being more of a prophet. You're supposed to be putting out information ahead of what your client is seeing so that they can avoid the landmines in their role, in their business. They are basically taking advantage of opportunities as they present themselves. You're helping them get ahead of the game. And this is what's going to allow them as business clients of yours to be successful. So bookkeeping and tax, what you now need to start seeing it as is not a historical role. It is a futuristic, prophetic role. Okay.
Right. If your level of service was this or has been this, and this is what you get, and you do that through the end of the year, and you get them ready for their taxes, you're not that prophet that Roger is talking about. You're not helping them get a glimpse into the future. If you're using the wisdom pyramid, where you're taking the shoebox that we just saw there and entering into the software and generating the reports, that's where you get that direction and the information for the business to have. And then the monthly consultation is where they start to gain the knowledge of what's working and what's not, and the clients that they need to get rid of, and the marketing strategies that are working and that are not working, and the information that Chuck was doing out in with his client, where he made those recommendations so they could start getting better knowledge of what works. Now that business owner has that wisdom to know, I don't need to have so much inventory. That cost of good kills me if I overdo it. If I run at this level, I'm good. Now they've got wisdom in the business. And this is a service that you need to be offering, where you are a profit and growth expert and helping them ascend to the top of that wisdom pyramid.
And I love this graph because I think it illustrates something very important. The data has in the past been timely, or it took time to generate, right? You had to record and document all these transactions in order to provide the information, which is the reports, whether you consider that the P&L, the balance sheet, or whatever. But the reports, if it just stopped there, these business owners so often, they couldn't use that information because it was Greek to them.
Yeah.
You had to interpret it. And so your role is to take that data, provide the information, and now interpret it. Only once it's been interpreted, where you can point out the various trends and help them see things that they're not aware of, do they gain the knowledge that they need to be making more intelligent business decisions. And only after going up this pyramid frequently, not once a year, not once every semi-annually, but doing this monthly, only then can they then get to the top, which is the wisdom. And that's through experience. Wisdom comes through experience, not just from climbing the ladder. And the beauty that I want to point out with technology is the data is being freed up from your having to enter the transactions. More and more and more is what's going on, is software is being figured out as to how to more quickly and accurately gather that data, so you can be focusing more on the information and interpretation to give your clients knowledge, rather than focusing on all of your time throughout the month doing all the data entry. Okay, your role is switching from data entry to information. Okay,
right.
That's what's happening here.
I want you to write this down if you haven't already done it. Frequency accelerates wisdom. When you're talking to clients, and if they're saying, oh, I don't need it as often as you think I do, you let them know that this frequency is going to accelerate the wisdom in their business, make them more successful, more profitable, and that's why it needs to be on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Roger talked about getting a glimpse and looking into the future. And, bookkeeping is a good way to do that. And historically going back and looking at things and predicting the future is good, but there are other tools that are out there, and this is what differentiates you. This is what is going to give you the monopoly control in this industry, is if you start learning about the next two things that we're going to talk about. The first thing is called Profit First.
Profit First is huge. I'm very much a passionate believer in this, because what I feel is too much in accounting, the profit, as we all know, just because of the mathematical equation, is the last thing. It's what we're doing at the end of the P&L to see, after all the revenues come in and after the expenses have been paid, what do we have left? And it's basically a chance game. It's where every business owner is just crossing their fingers and hoping that at the end of the day, there's something left over for profit. And the thing that's revolutionary about Profit First is changing a paradigm within the accounting model, not the accounting process, not what makes up the accounting system, but changing the approach to business so as to allow profit to be first. And so what we need to do is help you understand that when you go out there and you're marketing to your clients, when you're working with your clients, they need to understand that you are putting the priorities where their priorities are, which is they're getting profitable. They're becoming profitable. They're seeing profit first. And so there's a very specific methodology and approach, a process to ensure that the profit is there before you're done with the books. And what I want to do here is just emphasize that as you're out there marketing your services and as you're out there working with your clients, if you're able to tell them that your priority is in fact to put profit first, then you're going to help them put what they want to see at the forefront. They want to basically know that your priorities are the same as theirs, and profit first is the language that they're wanting to hear from you.
Step back and ask yourself, how many accountants are going out there with that message? How many bookkeepers are going out, meeting with potential clients and saying, my goal is to be focusing on the profit for your business?
Yeah, what it is I think the old mentality is accuracy.
Yep.
I can do the books right. I can do your taxes correctly. Right. Okay, so that's good. Timely, I can give you the information first, but nowhere in here are you saying anything about I'm going to help you be profitable. Okay. Right. And so it's adding an element that I think every business owner wish they would hear from an accountant, wish they would hear from their tax preparer, of your priority is the same as mine. I'm trying to make money here. And whether or not your client is solely driven by profit, I don't know. If that's the only reason they're in business, I don't know. But I can definitely tell you this, that it is the reason they are in business is because they're profitable. If they are not profitable, they will not be in business. So the point here is you need to be emphasizing that profit is first. So what I want to do here is just basically give you the glimpse, and we'll talk about it here in a few minutes, of why profit first is so essential. Here's the second thing. Value building. Now, Scott, a business, even when it's understanding its accounting and have all the reports and everything accurate, even when they're growing it as a business and they're making money, they're selling, there's revenue coming in.
They're profitable, you're saying?
Well, no, they're making sales. Perhaps they're profitable. Maybe at the end of the day, it's all trickling down to the bottom line. If not run correctly, that business that is growing and increasing in sales, that business that perhaps is even profitable, is worthless if not built upon the proper foundations. There are 8 drivers that determine the value of a business, and that's what we need to talk about next.
It's so funny when you're talking with business owners, and none of them want to focus on the negative in their business, so they're going to tell you that they're profitable, and that's one thing. But what we've found is that business owners, they have no real exit strategy. And if they do have an exit strategy, their exit strategy isn't built, like you just said, on the right foundation that's going to make it so when they go to sell their business, they get the highest return on this investment that they've made over the last 15, 20, 25 years while working in their business. Value building is one of those key elements that should be in your services, because if you want to take them to the wisdom pyramid, this is going to give them the opportunity. So when the time does come for them to sell their business, they are going to be in the best possible position to sell. There are a lot of companies that when they go to make an investment in a business, they know what to look at that's going to take the value of the business down, so they have to pay the least amount of money. So when they have to write that check and they're going to buy the business, they can do everything they can so it's the lowest amount that they have to pay. And that's unfair, because when a business owner sells their business, most of the time they've never sold a business before. And think back to Captain Sully. You remember the guy that landed the plane on the Hudson?
Yep.
When he landed that plane, he had never landed a plane on water before. He had done almost everything there was to do in an airplane, in a jet. He had been in the Air Force. He was retired Air Force. He'd been a pilot for 25 years. He had never landed a plane on the water.
Nor do I believe they had any simulators that did it. Yeah.
No.
So it wasn't even something they practiced.
So he had one opportunity to get it right. This is the same situation for business owners. For most of them, when they go to sell their business, they've got one opportunity to do it right. And with value building, you've got the opportunity to sit down with them and prepare them. So when that 5, 10 years, when they're ready to exit and they want a strategy, whether they're going to scale their business down or they're going to sell it, or they're going to step back and they're going to be the chairman of the business and they're going to just not be involved in the day-to-day aspects, their business is primed and ready to go. And that's where value building comes in. Go ahead.
And this is something that I want to add to it. It's not always just the exit strategy or the succession planning that the client is looking at here. What it is you're working with your clients. You're dealing with the accounting information. You know the numbers, the financial situation. And so when it comes to maybe a bank and they're looking at maybe getting a line of credit or bringing in some loans, or maybe you're getting some capital investments, you're looking at a VC, maybe you're just trying to hire and employ people, maybe hire a management person. All these people, when looking from the outside into the business, they need to see an organization that they can be confident in. And there are 8 things that these people looking from the outside in need to see to be confident in the business. And the reason why this is such an appropriate thing for an accountant to be thinking about is because as a strategic advisor, these 8 pillars that need to be addressed in the business are very natural for you to discuss with the client. And so here's why we bring this up. When you're looking at the future of accounting, more and more is it going to move towards your advising, consulting, and educating your clients, and less is it going to be the transactional recording and producing of reports. And so where you're looking at profit first and value building as a complement to an enhancement of your services, it's just a further extension of what you're already doing. You already have the access to the numbers, which are the language of business. Now it's the use of that information, which you're helping the client now more intelligently use. And that's what we're talking about here, which then empowers your relationship with your clients. It helps with the retention of your clients, and definitely helps you get paid what you're worth.
It's interesting that you, it's interesting that you said that whole thing about, look, if you want to go get a loan, one of my students worked for a bank and said that one of the specific areas in value building is something that business owners will look at. We'll talk a little bit more about it coming up, but these tools are really what take you to the next thing that we want to talk about, and that is becoming a primary advisor, somebody that they trust. The consultant for the business is really the direction that this profession is going in. Mm-hmm. It's no more just being the green visor in the back room, crunching the numbers, running reports. It's becoming an advisor to the business owners and coaching. If you haven't been paying attention for the last 15 years, coaching is becoming a very sought after industry because business owners realize they need somebody else's perspective. And so if you want to become a primary trusted advisor, these are the tools that are going to help you to get there.
It allows you to become relevant. Think of it like this as a doctor. It's giving you the bedside manner, okay? It's the ability to communicate with your customer, your client, in a way that they feel respected and understood, and more importantly, allows them to then hear what you're saying and then use that information to better their situation. So the one thing you have to understand is long are the days where accounting was in the shadows. You spoke when you were spoken to. They came to you when they needed some information to make a decision. Now you're being put into the limelight. You're becoming that strategic advisor, someone that they need to be listening to, and they know it. And so therefore they're becoming more reliant upon you. They trust your opinion. They want your opinion, and you need to be doing it. And the first thing here that we brought up, obviously, was becoming a profit first advisor, to be certified in how to communicate that information. I truly believe you've been doing accounting long enough, and the reason why you do what you do is because you love the numbers and they speak to you. I truly believe that you have within you an understanding of what these numbers mean, and really have something to say to the business owner, but you do not know how to bring it up. You may not be as comfortable or as confident in taking on this consultative advisory role. So here at Universal Accounting Center, what we're trying to do is empower you, educate you, teach you, and as well through coaching, assist you in properly going to your clients and giving them the information that they need. In Profit First, it's essentially taking the priority out of getting the revenues recorded and paying the bills with the expenses and staying on top of the payables and receivables. It's taking it and putting first and foremost profit first, so that you can go to the client with confidence to say each and every month you're being profitable. Well, there's a technique to this, a strategy to this. And so I encourage you to consider what it is you can do to bring this into your practice. You need to be a profit first professional.
Next one I want to talk about and give a little time to is Value Builder, what this whole program entails, what it looks like. This is a program that at Universal Accounting we have found to be just an irreplaceable tool in your practice. If you want to become the consultant and help the business owners prepare that exit strategy, this program gives you the ability to dive into those 8 different key areas that an investor or a loan officer or a bank is going to be looking at when they determine if the business is valuable. This gives you the ability to give the business a score, a sellability score out of 100. And businesses that are scoring at a certain level are getting a return on their investment that's 2-3 times more than what the average looks like. With the Value Builder program, it gives you options as this trusted advisor. you have the ability to sit down and do a $500 assessment with the business owner where the presentation is created automatically for you based off of the score that these businesses take. They take a 15-minute questionnaire and generates what their value builder score looks like. Then you can sit down and charge up to $500, depending on what you want to charge, to spend 2 hours to develop the action plan and the items that need to go along. But if you want to take it to that real trusted advisor level and get them involved in a $10,000 annual engagement with you, where you're providing them with the bookkeeping and the accounting and the tax, but now you're helping them to plan out their exit and you're making a huge return on your investment. This is the direction that you need to be moving if you want to be relevant in this industry.
I can't say enough about Value Builder, and I think you've done an excellent job, because Value Builder, with it, you get a lead management tool where, as you're collecting business owners' names and you're trying to get in and meet with them and offer your services, there's a nurturing system that goes on there that actually, in your behalf, is sent out with content and material to help them appreciate your worth and understand what it is you do for them. You get these reports, as Scott described, that enable you to go in with confidence to say, here are the things that you need to be aware of in your business that you can use to improve what you're doing today. And this is stuff that will improve sales, improve vendor relations, improve employee relations. It ultimately helps them have a better business. Not every business owner is in business because they're excellent at everything they do. They're in business because they have a product or service they're excited and passionate about, that they believe they can make money offering, that they can do and provide. Well, you're coming in and helping them fill in the gaps so that with these 8 drivers, they build a better business model, something that allows them to go home and sleep at night, not have ulcers, something that allows them to have a life outside of work, gives them the freedom they need to be in business for themselves, but not by themselves, because you're there helping them. This is huge. And as Value Builder, I'm just going to go back to what I shared earlier. There's the desire, I'm sure you have, of going into your clients and helping them, because you can see that you can do something, but you may not know what specifically to do or how to specifically bring it up. And Value Builder, as a Value Builder provider, you're trained and certified so as to know how to intelligently bring this up, what order or sequence to bring up topics, because they build upon one another. This is beautifully done so as to enable you to, with confidence, go out there and offer this as a service and get paid more for the things that you're doing.
Roger and I have had the opportunity to share this Value Builder here in the market in Salt Lake and see the not only the reaction that business owners have when they realize that this type of information is accessible to them, but also the changes that start taking place in the business. I'm working with a student right now who's combining this Value Builder program, teaching a workshop, and going to be incorporating it with some of the other programs that he's got through Universal Accounting. And I'm so excited for him to start seeing how he can impact these businesses in his market. It's really exciting. He's got a seminar coming up in the next month.
He's becoming that profit and growth experts that his clients need.
It's what he wanted, and it was just a perfect fit. If you think that this would be a good fit for you, then we really need to be talking about it, because here's the reality. This is what you're up against. First off, providing a complete level of monthly accounting for all the industries that are out there. You don't want to limit yourself to just 1 or 2 industries, because you're not getting your share piece of the opportunity that's out there. The second thing is being able to find the businesses that are going to pay you what you want, closing the businesses once you found them, because you're not a salesperson, keeping clients coming back month after month and offering those services which focus on you being that trusted advisor, that business consultant.
So one of the things that I think that Universal is very good at is helping you recognize that with your skills as that strategic advisor, that bookkeeper, that tax preparer, that profit first professional, that Value Builder provider, those skills and services you're providing, it's one thing to have those, but what Universal Accounting also offers is the ability through coaching to assist you in implementing all of these things with proven marketing strategies to get the clients and retain the clients. It's not enough to just know what to do. You can be the best basketball player, but if you're not on a team and you're not playing, who cares, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you've got to get out there and So you could be the best person in your market, but if you don't have any clients, who's benefiting from it?
He-
So we need to help you also in marketing your services, getting the clients, getting the engagement, retaining the client, keeping them around so you can actually have a professional livelihood.
Look, don't be a hypocrite. Practice what you preach. If you're going out there and if you're telling your clients you need to work with an advisor, guess what? You also need to work with an advisor.
Exactly.
And that's what Universal Accounting does. We are the advisors in this industry to teach you how to service the different types of businesses that are out there, to coach you through the process of accountability when it comes to marketing and going out and closing and making presentations. We've got the programs that will help you build automatic customers. We can train you in that profit first professional. We've got the program. We've got access to that. We can get you Value Builder certified. If those things have stood out to you, then that's what we can help you with.
This is a turnkey process, and there's no one better than the experts we have that are practicing what they are helping you do yourself. They are experienced. They're going through the same struggles you might be experiencing, and they're pushing through them. They're experiencing the success and can help you get there as well. Every successful person tries to find someone else that they can be emulating. Now's your chance to work with someone who's in fact doing what it is you want to do. And that's what we're talking about here today, is literally taking this turnkey process and applying it yourself.
So what have we learned today? We know that the industry has changed. It is changing. We know business owners want more than just the basic bookkeeping, and that profit needs to be your focus. It needs to be what you're talking to them about, because they all care about it. They all are concerned. They lay in bed at night. They worry about the profitability or the lack of profitability. So if you make that your marketing pitch, that profit is your focus, you're going to capture and captivate that audience. These customers that are out there, they need to have somebody help them build that exit strategy, so when it's their turn to land the plane on the water, they can do it as seamlessly as Captain Sully did and not have to be concerned that they're going to get hosed when that transaction takes place. Universal Accounting can help you. So here's where we've got this call to action for you. This is where you do more than just look at those notes. We want you to take advantage of an opportunity to sit down and talk with us about where you're at and what is missing in your business when we look at these things that we've just talked about, those services that might not be complete when it comes to bookkeeping or marketing or understanding profit or value and creating value in the business. So if you're serious, we didn't make you watch this video. You're the one that signed up for these webinars. So you obviously are looking for direction and you wanted to be coached. So guess what? I'm going to coach you. Call me. Let's set up a time. Let's discuss what's going on. If you want to build a valuable business, you've got to be willing to do things that you haven't been doing and try new things and create that sexy service that business owners, these younger millennials, it's what they're looking for.
Here's one of the things that I think you need to recognize. This is a turnkey process, but there's so many people listening to this today, and they're listening like you with the intent of saying, well, how do I apply this to me? Well, here's your chance to speak with Scott one-on-one and share, here's your background, here's your experience, here's what you're trying to accomplish, here's your goal, how you're trying to do it in your market. And the point is Scott can then adapt everything that we're talking about here and customize it to your needs to help you achieve your goal. There's no reason to assume that we're just going to say there's a cookie cutter approach to this entire process. Yes, it's turnkey. There is a tried and proven method. We've been doing this since 1979. We've helped thousands of people start and build successful accounting, bookkeeping, and tax practices. But I do want to say that each and every one of them came to the table with different experiences, background, expertises, different things that they were comfortable doing. And with Scott's expertise, he's able to help you mold and adapt everything that you're needing to do so that you can basically take advantage of today what's happening in the accounting profession and benefit from it financially yourself. So right now, schedule a time. Just below the video here, you'll see that there's a place that you can click to schedule an appointment with Scott. And if you haven't already, I would encourage you to do so. He will give you his undivided attention so as to help you take what it is we've discussed and apply it in your situation, listening to you and who you are.
The market rewards action. Now is your time to take it. I look forward to speaking with you.
This is going to be great. I'm looking forward to having you also as one of our many graduates. One of the things that we can definitely say is Universal is here because we make a difference. If it's about accounting, it's Universal. It's very, very simple. So what we want you to do is schedule that appointment with Scott. He's a great man. I've known him for years. I've seen the successes he's had with many students. We'd love to share with you more of what those people have been able to accomplish applying these very proven principles that we have. So just understand this. Accounting success is universal. So give us a phone call, reach out, schedule an appointment with Scott, and let's take that next step forward to help you achieve your dreams.
Thank you for paying attention today and for making it to the end of the webinar. We're grateful for that, and really looking forward to the opportunity to working with you and help you build that new level of business.
I'm excited to hear from Scott about these conversations he's going to be having with each of you. So take care, have a great day, and thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.